yesterday that Hillary Clinton is on statin drug and a thyroid medicine, and that Donald Trump is overweight. That was what the medical reports that I read. How would so I guess thyroid medicine, I'm not sure if I just was never aware of the issue. I never heard about thyroid issues when I was young. I hear about it, it seems very often, maybe more with women. What should you do to prevent having a thyroid problem?
Well, there are different types of thyroid problems. One reason why women develop thyroid problems, why I think it's happening more often, is because high estrogen levels depress thyroid function. And one of the contributors to high estrogen levels is eating dairy. I mean, you're actually eating estrogen. By the way, if you want somebody to really give up the dairy habit, explain to them that estrogen and estrogen metabolites are in all dairy products, doesn't matter what animal it comes from. So I always tell people who think they can't give it up, I want to reframe the thing for you here. So instead of saying I'm going to pour some milk on my cereal, I'm going to pour some estrogen on my cereal, because nothing is better with cereal than estrogen. I'm going to put a slice of estrogen on my sandwich, because a sandwich that has estrogen in it, it's so good. Then they'll go, ew. I said, that's the point, right? Ew. But women have high estrogen levels for a couple of reasons. Their diets create this problem, and also the extra weight that they carry, because fat cells produce hormones that are converted to estrogen in the bloodstream. So if you want to prevent your normal everyday hypothyroidism, which is predominant in women, lean down, get off the dairy products, start exercising, lower your estrogen levels. That's one thing. Another cause of hypothyroidism is autoimmune hypothyroidism, and that's a lot more complex topic, but basically rooted in the same thing. One of the quickest ways to develop an autoimmune disease is to eat terrible food and abuse your body on a daily basis. So, we keep coming back to the same thing regardless of the disease, right? It's you got to eat a plant-based diet. It's one disease. Dr. Esselstyn said that once. He said, I think it's just all one disease. It's caused by bad eating, and then we give it different names because that lets drug companies develop specific products that they can sell at very high prices. But it's just one bad diet. But one disease called bad diet.
Yeah, and there's different manifestations of one disease. So if you have 1,000 people in the room, and let's say I gave you all fast food 3 times a day for 6 months, some would get high blood pressure, some would get elevated cholesterol, some of you would get depressed, some would get overweight. You'd have a variety of different manifestations of one disease, which is malnutrition. And so that's what we're dealing with. And so, we have, Hillary Clinton on a statin drug. That means her cholesterol is up, which means she likely has coronary disease. Donald Trump eats Kentucky Fried Chicken by his own admission. Doesn't matter what his numbers are. He likely has coronary disease. The prevalence of the likelihood that they both have coronary disease is virtually 100%, in my opinion. And so, yeah, she has hypothyroidism. The fainting spell was likely probably a common vagal spell she had that she may have had before. But the other concern is that she has a hypercoagulable state. She's had cavernous vein thrombosis. She's had deep vein thromboses. And so basically that's a sign of a poor biochemical state, poor biochemistry and physiology. Sometimes perineoplastic syndromes can give hypercoagulable states. But oftentimes patients whose biochemistry is off whack throws their coagulation enzymes and molecules off balance, and so they're predisposed to either clotting in some cases or bleeding in other cases. And so basically both of them are in poor biochemical health, just based on the lifestyle. It's not just campaigning hard, et cetera. It's pretty much what they're putting in their mouths.
Yes, I'm concerned when I look at Ms. Clinton, and she's clear. You can see the dairy eaters when I walk in my office, and Mr. Trump and Ms. Clinton both have that bloat and that dairy eating look and the large derrieres and the derriere. When's the last time have you heard that word? It's delicately phrased. And the dairy industry did something that was very profound. They didn't tell us about it. I did most of my growing up on my uncle's dairy farm in Wisconsin. And back in the 50s, when a cow came into her fertile period, we'd lock her up in a stanchion, and the man from Badger Breeders would come and ram that tube of bull semen up into her uterus there, and she would become pregnant. And shortly after there, she would stop giving milk. Pregnant mammals don't lactate, and there's a good reason for that. And on my uncle's farm with 40 Holsteins, he just accepted that, and he realized that most of his prize milkers would go off the dairy production line for months at a time till they had their baby and start lactating again. Well, in a modern dairy operation with 2,000, 3,000 cows, they can't afford to have their best milkers come offline for months at a time. And so the smart agricultural scientist says, we can solve that problem, and they have genetically modified the cows. And now they will give milk all the way through their pregnancy. Even though they're pregnant with their next calf, they will lactate all the way through. So now every can of milk, every container of Greek yogurt, every slice of mozzarella cheese on the pizza are made from the milk of pregnant cows. The estrogen content of this is through the roof. And as Dr. Popper just said, this has ramifications throughout the life cycle. Why are our little girls going through puberty at age 8 and 9 and 10? Could it have something to do with this river of milk and cheese and ice cream and yogurt they're pouring down their gullet full of cow estrogens? Within 15 minutes of drinking a glass of milk, their urine is pouring with estrone, estradiol, estriol, pregnanediol, progesterone. These are potent mammalian estrogens, not the puny little phytoestrogens in soy. These are official mammalian estrogens, and they are active. Get your mammograms, ladies. Why do American women get all these breast lumps? It's not normal, not natural. Go to rural China, you don't see women with breast lumps yet. When the American diet metastasizes over there, you'll see it. You go to rural Vietnam, you don't see women with breast lumps like you do here because they're not consuming the dairy at this point. Guys sitting on the couch eating their deep dish pizzas and their cheese nachos look down, hey, where'd I get these man boobs? Fella, you're eating cow estrogens. What do you think is going to happen? And every 100th case of breast cancer is in a man. These estrogens make the prostate gland unstable, and if a woman has breast cancer and she's eating baby calf growth fluid with all these estrogens, like throwing gasoline on a fire, and they die harder, faster deaths from their breast cancer. So the estrogens that were referred to are no small matter here, and I can see it in both Ms. Clinton and Mr. Trump, and I don't care what his numbers look like. What's really happening in Mr. Trump's prostate, what's really happening in his colon wall, what's really happening in his arteries is nothing good, I'll guarantee, and just a matter of time before they manifest. And finally, what Dr. Montgomery said is absolutely true. It's the same disease, and it bubbles up through all these organ systems, and the internist sees the high blood pressure, and the cardiologist sees the angina, and the gastroenterologist sees the colitis, and the rheumatologist sees the sore joints, and the dermatologist sees the psoriasis. They're all looking at the same disease. It's the classic blind man and the elephant, and one's got a hold of the trunk, and the elephant's like a snake. The other one's got a hold of the tail, it's like a rope. The other one's got the leg, it's like a tree trunk. They're all holding the same elephant, and it's the food that is manifesting in all these different organ systems. So the meat, the dairy, all of them has become so toxic and in a synergistic blend of evil in power. And so until I hope President Trump starts helping some legislation get passed to help American change to a plant-based diet, I'll believe it when he orders veggie burgers. So stay tuned, but don't take any comfort from whatever laboratory results he put forth, whatever. These are not, neither of them are healthy people, as was brought out here. Stay tuned, the story's far from over.
One observation, I don't know the Clintons, but just from observing, Bill Clinton has been pretty good at sticking with this diet. We have a couple of mutual friends, and I've been told that. But if you notice, when Hillary got off the road from being Secretary of State and she was home, she leaned down, she looked better, and I surmise what was going on is she was eating at home, and she was eating that diet, mostly. Then as soon as the campaign started and she wasn't home all the time anymore, did you notice every time she'd make an appearance, she'd get bigger? And I think what's happened is that she doesn't adhere to the diet when she's on the road, and she's blown up she's almost as big as she was when she ended her term as Secretary of State. So she's the public picture of what we're talking about. You eat well, the weight comes down, she looked healthy, her skin cleared up, her hair looked good. She really did look more her age instead of 10, 15 years older. And then she ate herself right back into the way that the condition she was in. And my guess is that when she's in one place again, particularly if she's around people who eat well, you'll see all that weight go away again.